Studio, David Koechner. Woo!
Thank you. A well-earned applause. And young lady, you dropped out right away. I think there was two half-hearted claps. But you know what? I don't care. I don't have an ego about it. I will not speak to you again during this interview.
Okay.
Anyway.
I show my appreciation for people in other ways.
I can tell.
Okay, this was an interesting interview.
No, why you gotta go there?
Because everybody listening to the radio just went there. Now I can honestly play. Whammy! Come on, that's a legit whammy. You got to give me a whammy for that one.
You do. Am I doing it or you? No, you're an absolute delight, young lady.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm here soaking in your poetic self, which inspires anyone that it was in within your sphere of influence. Now, Jim.
Yeah. I'm nervous now.
Wow.
Can we at least tell David's in town. It's the 40th anniversary of Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. You're going to be in town doing shows this weekend, comedycastle.com for your shows. 248-542-9900. You know they will sell out, man.
Yeah,
it's an honor to have you here in the Motor City.
Thank you, sir. It is an honor to be here.
Do you understand the one thing now? If you know the voice, you know him from Anchorman, obviously. The Office, fantastic. Although the thing with the mistletoe and the pants, a little uncomfortable, that scene. And now on the Goldbergs, great turn on there. So we love your work, David. But this is your first time here in the Motor City.
Well, not first time in Detroit. First time playing the Comedy Castle.
That's 40. Well, he's only been there 40 years. What are you waiting for?
Well, I had to wait till 40.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I didn't have faith until just now.
Woke up and had an epiphany.
I did. Something said, go to Detroit.
Now's the time.
More specifically, Royal Oaks.
Yeah. You're the guy who's never been to McDonald's.
Yes.
What is that place with a big mark or whatever the hell they call it? I don't know what that is. Do you realize that Anchorman 50 years from now will still be just as funny and watched by generations?
I hope so. And yeah, thank you. I hope so. And I think you're right.
But think about it. I mean, you can name on one hand, if you go and like, all right, name a comedy that's gonna resonate with people no matter what their age is 50 years from now. Like my son's 15 and I showed him Airplane for the first time and he laughed his ass off.
Oh, good.
And then we watched Anchorman and it was the same thing. He's just sitting there like, what you guys do on there, that's one of those moments, man, that did you understand when you were doing it, the scope of how funny it was at the time?
Yeah, we had a discussion almost like, you don't talk about a no-hitter when it's happening, right?
Right.
And that's what it felt like. This is going to be rare, unique, remarkable. And then it wasn't in terms of box office.
Right.
People forget it only made $84 million, which they don't consider a hit, and they dumped it in August, which at the time was not prime release time.
Isn't it? Did you know? I didn't know. I always considered Anchorman was like this monster movie. I didn't.
Well, it became a pop culture phenomenon later on DVD and cable. That's where people found it.
When was the first time someone came up the street and yelled whammy at you?
I don't know. I guess I should have marked that in my calendar. like Judge Kavanaugh and me and Ski did horrible things to women, and then we said whammy.
But people say it to you, right?
Oh, of course. I love it when they change it to blammo.
Blammo?
Shut the front door. They do that?
Oh, yeah, blammo and blammy. I love it.
Instead of...
All right, then.
Here's the other one I like. Hey, Champ Bailey, how are you?
Champ Bailey. I loved your work with the Redskins.
Exactly.
You were great.
Champ Bailey was a cornerback, folks.
So who came up with whammy? Is that a you line?
It was scripted.
It was?
Yeah.
See, now, we were watching, and you realize the other part of Anchorman is all the outtakes. Like, we were talking in the studio.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
You hear the director calling out, like, ideas for things.
That's Adam. He's brilliant. McKay. Yeah.
You guys are going in and out of character. You're laughing your ass off at scenes, and then he yells out something as a suggestion, and then you go right back into your character and do stuff.
Right.
How hard is that?
Well, it's not, because that's your job. I mean, you're doing it right now. You are.
Yeah, but you do it well. I'm just kind of
you've been here 17 years.
Yeah, and I still haven't gone
It's
to
no
Canada.
40. It's no Comedy Castle.
Right, yeah, it's no Mark Ridley's. But seriously, I saw you guys, you and Paul Rudd and Will and everybody. I am stunned how you guys are laughing so hard, and then he yells out a line, like the one about the breast augmentation with Nichols, and how Paul Rudd can bring himself back to do that.
Was that the first one or the second one?
Second one.
Yeah, was that the lighthouse scene?
No, they were doing a bunch of news updates.
Okay.
And you can hear Adam yelling out, like they're talking about new materials for breast augmentation, and Adam yells out, Nichols! And Paul Rudd just loses it, man.
A bag of nickels.
A bag of nickels, that was what it is. but you guys could just drop back into it and do that stuff.
I will say the lighthouse scene, we could not keep it together. I don't know if those outtakes are anywhere, but it was ridiculous because this man, Ron Burgundy, was so petulant and childish about being blind, which he did to himself in a way, and the way he handles it is with absolutely no grace. You know, he bit into an ashtray thinking it was a waffle. And then Brian Fantana lightly suggests, couldn't you tell that it wasn't a waffle? It's glass and it wasn't warm. Brian, I'm going to say this one time, and really loud and really clear, I am blind. It was just so ridiculous.
So what was the record for reshooting a scene on those films, though, because you guys couldn't keep it together?
Oh, everyone gets it together eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
After 55 tries.
Oh, no, it doesn't take that long. But, I mean, everyone's a professional, and so you can have a moment and then go back.
I still like you when you asked me you could deep fry anything and it would taste like chicken, and Paul read this. What about give me any animal, chicken? Just the way he did that, I'm like, what a tool move. It's fantastic, and the Goldbergs now and everything you got going on. We're going to talk more with David and again, Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. You got a show tonight too,
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes,
Tonight
we
through
do.
Saturday, comedycastle.com. We're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to be on Facebook Live as well, so we'll do that, and we'll talk. You are a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Yes.
Are they playing this weekend?
I believe they are.
Yeah. You know Tom Brady went to U of M, right?
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy. He's never won anything. You guys got to give him a break. The poor
Well,
kid has just
no,
never
thank
won a
you.
title.
You know what? We all rise to our own level. Water seeks its own level. Whoever this Brady fella is, apparently aims very low.
Tim Brody? Is that what you're going to start
It
calling
is
him
Tim
now?
Brody, right?
No, it's Tom Brady.
Am I saying it right?
It's
Tim
Tom
Brody?
Brady. I think he has 137 Super Bowl rings at this point.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
good luck to him.
Dave Koechner in the studio. This.
We need to say hello to Alan Ipsy, who wants to tell you specifically, hey, David.
Hey, Ipsy.
Hey, bud. There's Al. Okay, we're back on here. We're on Facebook Live. Hi to everybody there.
Was that a camera?
Yeah, that's
It
our
is.
camera right
With
there,
a
bud.
microphone on top.
Yeah, and you're feeding through the microphone. So
This thing in front of me is a microphone.
Go figure.
He's an actor.
I
He's
am
an
not
actor.
well-versed with technology.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Now, the one story we didn't get a chance to tell on air, but I want to tell this story. You've done a lot of movies. You travel all over the country and all over the world filming. But the what happened to you in Louisiana story when you arrived there, you got to tell this.
Well, there was a show on Comedy Central, and it was a web series originally, and it was called This Is Not Happening. So you tell a story from your life when you look back and you thought, how did that happen? And in the middle of it, you're also thinking, this is not happening. And it happened to be, I know it's a long story, so I'll try to truncate it. I was in Louisiana shooting a movie, The Dukes of Hazzard, and I had gone out drinking with MC Gainey. You'll know him as one of the pilots from Con Air. And so we had finished, and we were walking back to the hotel. We're not driving. And then we ran into a bunch of other people who had just arrived to begin filming, and they were going to another restaurant. So we went in there, and they were doing something dangerous, which is car bombs. And apparently,
Beer in a shot, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I was agreeable, too agreeable. So we are 2 hours ahead of Los Angeles. And
Now, wait
whatever-
a minute, though. For folks, David, as on stage, has stated a long time. A lot of people drink, but you're a pro at drinking.
I know how to do it.
So you could handle it, but you had really gone off the deep end by this point.
I was in my cups, as they say. Pardon?
I said, oh.
Oh,
So I realized I had to go call home to tuck my kids in. At that point in time, we only had the two. And whatever time, it must have been like 8 o'clock in L.A. And so I was calling home to say goodnight. And I was standing outside. I'm from Missouri. So it would not be uncommon to relieve yourself out of doors.
Yeah.
So
Peanut tree. Why
I
not?
went around the side, what I thought was the side of the building, and there were bushes, and so I took a pee. Now, a car pulled up right behind me as I was mid-flow. And I was a bit annoyed, like, come on, really, voyeurs? Well, it turns out it's a cop car.
Uh-oh.
So they immediately gave me a ticket, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. Like, come on. But the right thing to do, yes.
Sure.
Now, fine, ticket. But then they said I had to appear in court.
Over public urination.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm thinking, why? So I have to fly back to Louisiana at some point 3 months from now to appear in court. I can't just pay a fine. So at this point, again, I am not of clear mind. And I got a bit upset. And so I went inside and I told the guys what happened, and I'm mad. And someone there suggested that I take a dump on the cop car. So I head outside, not with the intention to do that. And at that point, MC Gainey followed me out and said, Koechner, get your bottom home. And so I went home. Now, that was the end of the story for me. 3 hours later, my door opens in the hotel room and police enter, handcuff me, and take me to the station. As it turns out, I'll make the story shorter. What had happened was they were all talking about it at the table, saying Koechner's going to go take a dump on that car. This waitress is hearing it. She's friends with the police officers. So she informs them that I did it. Right? There's no evidence because I didn't do it. But they were going to investigate, so they arrested me, took me downtown, and interrogated me for several hours.
Oh.
Yes, and they brought in different officers. Finally, there's a young guy, and he's trying to be cool. You know, hey, just say you did it. You know, he's trying to be like, hey, I know who you are. I get you. I seen your moves. I like you.
So they played good cop, bad cop with you.
So they did the
in
whole
the middle
law
of the
and
night.
order on you.
Oh, come on.
Yes, and
That's
I'm thinking that at one
crazy.
point, I'm like, is this a joke? Is this a practical joke? Are these guys messing with me? These guys are in cahoots with everybody else. So, pardon me. They finally are convinced nothing happened because there's nothing there. I didn't do it. But then they finally took me home. I will say this. I'll keep this short. The officer whose car it was the one that drove me to the police station, and he did not go directly there.
The little dirt road thing there, trying to get you to confess again?
Or intimidate me, sure.
Okay.
But I was just kind of like, what are you doing? What's going on? I was apologizing for peeing in their town. I thought that was related to that. So then they go on, you know what you did. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you? So then finally they open up the door of the interrogation room, and then they open up the door to their office, and they put on the speakerphone the waitress. Tell us what you saw. And she says, oh, no, I didn't see anything. I just heard them talking.
So they didn't vet her out before they came and kicked down your door at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That is correct.
Are you kidding me?
No.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
So see?
And then here's the other part. There's one young woman who was a star of the show, and we had several scenes together. And so the next day, words out all over the set, like something happened.
Damn, it is something. What
as
happened?
you know,
Yeah.
gossip loves to find its highest point and broadcast. So this gal, we had several scenes together, was very icy, not friendly and engaging at all. I was like, this is so odd. I'm a nice guy. I'm just trying to talk to her, ask her questions like, do you ever babysit? Something like, how can we find some common ground? Blah, blah. Never happens. Months later, my good friend Dax Shepard calls me, and he goes, Koechner, what happened in Baton Rouge? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I'm down here working with this gal, and the way she tells it, you took a dump in your pants in the back of that cop car. So this gal who I was working with is thinking, this guy next to me is an absolute disgusting monster. So that's why she was so chilly. Then, at the premiere of the movie, months later, probably 9 months later, a couple walks up to me, and they're from Louisiana, and for whatever reason, they won tickets to this premiere.
Okay.
And they come up to me and go, we heard about what you did in Baton Rouge.
Come on.
I'm like, what? And they tell me that I had defaced this car.
Right.
And then the police officer, as they were told from him, took me out in the country and knocked the crap out of me.
So now you got beat down by Buford Pusser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
So
All right.
it just keeps.
Yeah.
It's like that game we used to play when we were kids,
Telephone.
Operator. Yeah, where you're like, I have a dog, and by the end of it, you ate a dog and massacred 55 small children.
Yes, and
Fantastic.
pleasured yourself.
Do you remember when David Koechner went into the middle of that police station and pooped on the floor and then took their guns and shot his name in the roof? Remember that?
And here's the other part. Someone is just tuning in, and that's all they heard.
That is the greatest story, man, and horrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
So your role on the Goldbergs, you and I were talking before we came on, David, that it's become one of those shows, like Aaron knows, I ramble on about it.
He talks about it all
I
the
love
time.
the writing, I love the characters,
Yes.
and then to fold you into it as well, as a Cowboys fan in Philly. It's got to be fun to do that show.
Yeah. I've known a lot of those actors. I've known Jeff for probably 30 years, Wendy for, I guess, nearly 20. So they're so good. I will have to say, Wendy is past exceptional. She is just a marvel. So much fun. She knocks it out of the park.
It's a force of nature.
Yeah.
She is the perfect person to play that role.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
But like you said, the writing is very sharp.
Yeah.
And at the end, they always have just the right amount of heart.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Patton Oswalt is the perfect narrator.
True.
You couldn't get anyone better to do that.
It's smooth and enjoyable.
So with Lainey, I'm not giving people she's leaving obviously for the spinoff of School. Does that mean your role's gonna?
I hope so. I did the pilot,
Right.
Or the first episode. I think there's going to be more.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of plates that are spinning, so they have to preserve what they have first and set that up and keep moving it forward.
Have you ever eaten shrimp parm?
No.
Okay. Because Beverly makes this amazing shrimp parm, which I guess in real life, the real Beverly Goldberg, that was her go-to dish. And it looks like 8 pounds of carbs. And I'm always wondering, the guy, I'm going, is that real food? Is that really shrimp parm on the set?
Yes. Now, if you have to eat it, it absolutely is. It probably is.
I'm wondering, man.
Yeah.
You guys have never just dug into some of that?
No, because if you eat, you have to continue to do that for every take.
Oh, that's true. I never thought of that. Yeah.
So you have to be...
Yeah, it's such a cool show. David Koechner with us. Want to say hi to everybody on Facebook as well.
Hi, Facebookers.
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle tonight through Saturday. ComedyCastle.com, 248-542-9900. Is that right, Joel? Got the numbers right and everything? Yeah, sounds good. All right, you got to keep Mark happy. Now, you being from Chicago, right?
No, I was there for 9 years.
Okay, and then you moved to
New York.
Okay.
And then Los Angeles.
Okay.
But you're from Missouri.
Correct. Is this a deposition?
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to interrogate you, and later on, we're going to put you in the back of a cop car and take you down to the hood
Are
and
you
beat
willing to
you.
take a DNA test for this one?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this because, so how did you wind up doing stand-up to get to SNL? Did you come back to Chicago, or where were you when you were doing this?
No, I didn't do stand-up then.
What were you acting then, or what?
Yeah,
how
I
did
was
this
doing
happen?
the Second City.
Oh, okay.
Because your dad did what? Turkey coops or some crazy thing
livestock
like
trailers.
That?
Yes.
How do you go from there to like my dad was a purchasing agent, and he kind of thought it'd be cool if I did that. How do you wind up doing stand-up comedy?
Because the people need me.
It's for the children.
It's for the children. Here's the thing. When I grew up, there wasn't the internet. There were books. There are the things you had to read to get information and inspiration. So I'd read a lot of books about Saturday Night Live and Second City and all this stuff. So I knew what it was. And I knew a lot of people on Saturday Night Live had started at Second City. So I was a poli-sci major, and I quit going after my third year because I realized I'm not going to do that. Then a buddy and I went to Chicago, went to the Second City, loved the show. On the way out, I see a poster. They teach classes. I was like, oh, that's how you get here. So I saved my money and moved there the next year and started taking classes.
Just like that.
Yeah.
See, we always talk about it. Like we were talking about generational things. Earlier this morning, we had a story about a 15-year-old that called 911 because she was upset that her dad took her cell phone.
Oh, boy.
And then I remember Tim Allen, at that Last Man Standing show, he had a whole episode about what they wouldn't let him say at a commencement address.
Oh, yeah.
As his character, and it became a big deal.
Uh-huh.
But we grew up in a generation where it's pounded into your head. If you want to do something bad enough, make it happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, no one's going to give it to you. Look
Right.
what you did.
Yeah.
You stopped your doing and said, that's what I want to do, and you're doing it.
Right.
Do you think that's something to see we're getting away from?
I don't know.
It's scary if we
It
are.
is scary. I don't see a lot of ambition in the next round of people that are supposed to take care of our diapers.
Well, you got 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
So how do you instill that into them?
I try. You try to make them self-sufficient, but it's hard. And they're lost on their phones. It's really hard. We try to have them be off for 2 hours a night. When you and I were growing up, and you're younger than me, it was television is going to be the death of us all.
Right.
Right.
It's going to ruin you.
Now I would be delighted if they all came to the living room and we all watched something together. They go to their rooms and they have a TV. I would never put a TV in their room, but their phone is one. Their computer is one.
Now, I've got 3, to your point, I've got 3 shows. I was thinking about this. The Goldbergs, not just saying that because you're here. The Goldbergs, one we watch as a family as a whole. My son and I love Key and Peele.
Nice.
We sit there and watch that all the time.
Yeah.
And then Narcos. So that's the other end of the spectrum. But anyway.
Okay, that is questionable. But no, you're right, because my weekly thing with my one daughter, she likes that show Botched.
Okay.
With the 2 plastic surgeons that fix bad plastic surgery.
Okay.
So that's our thing we watch together weekly. She comes over for dinner on Thursdays.
Nice.
We have dinner, then we watch Botched. So you're right, though. We got to find a way to...
Well, look at we do stuff with Xfinity, right? You've seen now. I mean, look how they even market it. The Wi-Fi in your house, you as a parent have to disable the phone so they'll pay attention as they'll come to dinner.
Wow.
That's to your point. It's like it's got to that point now where it's like I need a sledgehammer so I can stop my kids from being on their devices.
Yeah.
It's crack.
We don't allow the phones at the table.
We don't either.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but when the phone rang when I was a kid, if during dinner, my dad would go, "Don't answer that." He would just burn a hole in your head, like he'd do not answer that.
Right.
I'm like, yes, sir. I'm not
The
gonna
other
do
thing
that.
when you're a kid, if you ever had a phone bill that was $100, you're going to hear the house shake. Who's been making long distance calls?
No, we
That's
get our
right.
ass whipped is
Now,
what we get.
what are we paying? I've got 6 lines. Me, my wife, and my 4 oldest kids all have their own phones. I mean, what am I paying? $500 a month?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And you don't even blink.
And then I have to upgrade the GD things.
Now, you're talking about phones, though, when it was the old After 8 thing. But I remember when I was in the service, and the first time...
Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you. 9 years, and calling cards came out. And we were told it was a magic 800 number you could call, and there was a free government code. It was somebody's cell code for calling cards. So people would just change the numbers a little bit. We'd call this number, and then we'd call our parents or whatever, not knowing that was actually using somebody's calling card.
Wow.
Remember, what was it, MCI, the orange ones you had?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So all of a sudden, the Naval Investigative Service is all over the Navy base in San Diego because there's like $5,000 phone bills
Oh, my
at
gosh.
these stands, and we're like, no, it's a magic calling card. It's a magic number. That's free, right? And they're like, no, you dumbass. It's a calling card. We did. We rang up I think it was $5,000 or $6,000 worth of phone charges
Fantastic.
for long distance calls, man.
Well, I think we're still paying that off. As
You're
taxpayers.
welcome. Yeah, well, not now because the government shut down. But anyway,
that's right.
Yeah, no. We'll get.
Oh,
to
for a good reason, though, right? Because no one would do that just, haphazardly or for no reason.
All I know is on both sides, the one thing they better agree on really damn quick: the Coast Guard's not getting paid. This is the first time in American history that a branch of the military did not get paid during any time.
That's disgusting.
Right? I mean, I'm like, look, if you guys want to sort out the rest of this crap, do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the men and women who do, and if you think the Coast Guard's just knee-high Navy, you're crazy.
No, you're crazy.
That's some hard-ass work, man, especially with all the stuff on the borders and everything they do. To not get paid?
Yeah. It's insulting.
I don't know. It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I don't know, but we'll do something with that.
I'm about to fire that guy.
What's that?
I'm about to fire that guy.
We've been saying that for 2 years.
No, I want to fire all of them. Let's just fire all of them and start over.
That's a good idea, actually.
All of them. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
It does look like an F is for Family episode, doesn't
Nice.
it? It
That's a
kind of
good
does.
show.
Do you like I worked that in there?
Nice.
I know
well
you.
done.
I know you, Dave. I know you.
Yes, I know you know.
I know you. You nervous about the Chiefs this weekend?
No.
Look at the
Oh,
confidence.
the confidence.
Even with Belichick.
So
Now,
many weapons.
Belichick?
okay, here's my question. I got 2 for you. Belichick takes away one weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He always does that. Who do you think, if you're Belichick, who would you take away?
Mahomes.
Mahomes? Even over Tyreek Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, because Mahomes has to throw it to him.
Well, I know, but I'd rather keep Mahomes in the pocket and take my chances.
That's fine because we have so many weapons. Do your worst.
Okay. And then how significantly different would this game be if Belichick had 2 weeks to prepare instead of 1?
Wow, I don't know. I mean, in a way, he has. We met earlier this year, and which is good because we lost.
Right.
That's good.
in a shootout.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a game, though.
That was
You guys
an
could have won
amazing
that
game.
game. You probably should have won
Of course,
that game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, a couple moves, and our defense hadn't gelled at that time. So, it's going to be a whole different show
You
this
guys
time.
notice, this, just for people who are Lions fans, that's called confidence in your team. We haven't had it in 50 years. We haven't had it in 50
You
years.
had one season a couple years ago that was decent.
Yeah, I mean, we've got talent and stuff, but like, this thing now they're doing online where you're 10 years later stuff. Somebody put up one today. Detroit Lions in 2009, 7 playoff wins. 2019, 7 playoff wins.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the history of the franchise?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Think about it, man. We couldn't win with Barry Sanders.
Right.
Barry Sanders.
Right.
Barry Sanders. Love Tyreek Hill. Ain't no Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders made entire teams miss.
Yes, he was amazing.
Yeah. And we won what? One playoff game with Barry? Is that 1 or 2 playoff games?
I think it was 2.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
And smart to walk away from the game.
Put it this way.
Yes.
It's bad when you go to a Lions game and everybody's wearing jerseys of players that used to play for the team when they were good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you see a lot of, like, what would you see, Len Dawson jerseys at a Chiefs game?
You see everything. You see
Really?
everything. Yeah. You see a lot of Derek Thomas.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, at respect to him.
I have not seen a Derek Thomas. No, I'm sorry. A Len Dawson, to my knowledge. I'm sure there's one out there.
Old school, man. Number 16, put the 1 bar on. You'd
Right.
look good, Dave.
Right,
you could
right.
rock that look, man.
I wear the punter's number. He's a buddy of mine.
Punter's number.
Yeah. Dustin Colquitt, best punter in the NFL, and we've become friends. He has 5 children as well.
Do you have any friends in Chicago you called after the Bears game?
No, we were texting together.
Did you text him double doink?
No.
Oh.
I'm not going to rub stuff in.
Okay, we were
Yeah,
talking
right.
about this. They did the thing where the bar offered like a free or a food or beer or whatever it was if you could kick a 43-yard field goal,
Oh.
and then nobody did it. It's a lot, they all missed it. 101 people tried it and they yacked it. They
Good.
just snapped everything left and right. But the Bears coach being so pissed off that the kicker went on the Today Show.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And talked about, because when he missed, he talked about his faith and he pointed up. And they said that was kind of cool. And they were saying, like, you were very honorable for doing that. Now, the only person who didn't like that was the coach for the Bears, who in their, their, I don't know, what would you call it, your end of year press event or where, when they talk to the media when they're leaving.
Yeah.
He was pretty sawed off about that. He goes, you win as a team, you lose as a team. You shouldn't be doing that on your own.
Being interviewed?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's off season. You don't have control of the players or what they're allowed to do.
But if once the coach said that, if I'm that kicker, don't you just pack up and tell your wife, like, we're out of here? There's no way he's coming back.
The ball was tipped.
Yeah, but people don't care. I mean, do you think that honestly the Bears would bring him back next year?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
How did he do it throughout the year?
Not very good.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's
no.
a
He
different
yacked a couple
story.
ones. That's why, because remember, that was the whole thing during the game was like, it was almost like, dear God, let's just not get to where he's going to have to decide the game. And sure enough, he wound up deciding the game. Yeah.
Well, gosh, I felt bad for a dude from Philadelphia last week. When the ball slipped through his hands, I thought that guy was going to off himself right on the field after that play.
Alshon Jeffrey went right through.
Oh.
He didn't look it in.
And they put the bird box thing on his head immediately. Somebody immediately, within like 3 minutes on Twitter, it was Sandra Bullock and bird boxed it. Were you a jock and did you play in school?
I played to no result.
You played to play?
Yeah.
Try being a lineman in high school. The whole thing that you play football and you get girls, it's not true.
No.
It's a lie.
I'm from a town of 2,000 people, so everyone knows everything about everybody, and so it's you're not going to impress anybody by doing anything new.
What'd you guys like have with the basketball team and you ran the picket fence and waited for Joey to come out and play on the team?
Joey never came out.
He never came out?
No.
He never could run the picket fence? Even with the drunk Navy coach there smacking the kids around?
Oh, that guy was armed as well.
He was back in. Is that the
In
best?
the old days.
Yeah, the good old days. Running the Joey, you're fans. And then you had the drunk assistant coach too.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Hoosiers didn't portray people in Indiana in a very general sense. Wow. Everyone lets that slide because it's such a cool basketball movie. But my God, you're either a drunk, you're a redneck, right? I mean,
Well, every sports movie has those cliches. Look at Friday Night Lights. It's the same thing.
in Texas, every Texan, the abusive dad who in the glory days with the ring on it. And, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. All right, David, I know we've keeping you longer. We probably wanted to, but you're awesome, dude.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. What have you? I love to ask. We've asked celebrities this when we talk about it. We're talking about baseball movies. We had Tim Robbins on.
Wow.
Tim kept the garter from Bull Durham.
Ah, that's sweet.
Rose goes in the front, big fella. He kept that, and then he also kept the suit, the black suit that he wore when he got out of the sewer in Shawshank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he still got it. Right.
That's a great movie.
And then Lori Petty had the outfit from League of Their Own, but now it's in the Smithsonian. They asked for it back.
Nice.
That's her jersey from the movie.
Uh-huh.
What did you keep from Anchorman?
Oh. Oh, there's a ring.
You got a ring?
There's a Channel 4 ring.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Are
that's
you kidding
cool.
me?
No.
They made those? You guys had...
Yeah, on the for the movie, yeah.
So it was just... Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Didn't keep the hat?
They don't give it to you because it's potential reshoots.
Right.
So they have to keep it.
You got the ring. Let me see other films you're talking about. Like, so what about like Talladega Night? Anything
Yeah.
like that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Anything else for movies you can think of that comes to mind that you've
That I
taken?
kept?
over?
No.
Nothing that you're willing to admit?
No. I don't desire props.
Did you keep the hood of the car that you pooped on in Louisiana?
Is it hanging on the wall in your garage?
But like The Office, do you get a hold on at least the scripts, or you have to give those back?
No,
too?
you can. Yeah. I've
Do you have
got
those?
1 or 2 of those, I think.
Dude.
What?
You think about it. You can mark that you've been in one of the most iconic comedies in the past 25 years.
Right.
Plus 2, I'm telling you, Goldberg's 20, 30 years from now, it's just going to be
Amen.
popping, and
Still
then to be
watchable.
part of The Office.
Yeah.
As the
I'm
Pac-Man.
fortunate.
You're
And
talented.
let's don't forget about waiting. Anybody in the food service industry,
We
it's
had a whole
required.
discussion about waiting things, and everyone, because we were talking about somebody, what did they do with the food? Remember the story? Because we had a whole thing on the air about it.
Oh, people sending their food. We had that. What we
Sending
should
their
do
food
one
back,
day.
yeah.
We had a topic where this guy goes out to dinner with his mom and dad all the time, and his dad complains and sends shit
Always.
back to the kitchen all the time.
Yeah.
And so that topic of conversation came up, and we had like 55 text messages that said, "Tell that guy to watch the movie Waiting."
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
That
awesome.
was all. Everyone was making references to that, man.
Yeah.
It is such a cool thing. You're having fun, aren't you?
Of course.
Life's good?
My job is to play.
And
My job. It's called a screenplay, a teleplay, or a play. The active word there is
Play.
to play.
it's what you do,
That's
man.
my job.
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle tonight through Saturday, 248-542-9900. ComedyCastle.com is the website. You watch there, want to say hi to everybody. My son is in business class in college up at Michigan Tech. He's watching this now because he's a huge fan of yours.
What's his name?
Ryan.
Ryan. Time to get back to your books.
Study. We're paying for that crap.
Come on, Rai.
Come on, buddy.
Make a decision.
We'll do that one. This is cool. So I'm stuck. I got so much that I want to talk to you about, but this is just fun. Oh, the
I'll
one
see you back to
person.
the house.
all
Oops.
the-
Oops.
Come on over. We got a guest room. I got a smoker in the back.
Since
We'll
when
do
do I
some
sleep in the
trigger.
guest room?
Come
oh,
on.
we're on air.
Yeah, no, we can go to the master bedroom too. My wife wouldn't care. It'd be all good.
Well, she hasn't so far.
Awkward.
I have to ask this thing because I've always been interested in this. I've heard the stories when you were on SNL.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the 2 British dudes, the
The fops.
Oh.
funniest character about the 90-day thing. I cried. I laughed so hard.
It's
Was that Madeline
91
Kahn?
days.
Yeah. It would be 91. Well, under these rules, nothing we can do. But I'd always heard this story that the last skit, like the 12:45 or whatever that slot is, was the one that was the most thought about during the week. The ones maybe the writers wanted, or the characters, and Lawrence going hell no, or vice versa. Is Bill Brasky one of those?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think he got it. I remember because you do a table read on Wednesday.
Right.
And I remember the first time we did it, half the room is just defeated laughing, and the other half of the room is not getting it. They're like, what's happening? And I remember the look on Lauren's face. He seemed confused.
Bill Brasky, and the best one in the airport where you keep changing how big he is. By the end of it, he's like, what, 8 feet tall?
Yeah, 565 pounds.
Bill Brasky. Was that based on anyone? Any?
No,
that
it's
whole
based
thing?
on the idiocy of boorish, loudmouth drunks at the airport.
It's legendary, and those teeth, man, made it.
Oh, I loved it.
Even hell, Alec Baldwin's in one of them, isn't
The
he?
first one.
Oh, he's in the very first
Yeah.
one. Okay, that's the airport one.
Yeah.
Okay, and I remember you guys weren't you at a Chuck E. Cheese with one of them with
Gosh, I
Paul
don't-
Rudd?
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe.
Is that
yes,
right? With Paul Rudd, you
that's
did a
one of my
Brasky one there.
favorite
Oh,
ones.
the last one when One Direction was on.
Oh, is that when you guys went and sang?
Yes, Afternoon Delight with One
Afternoon
Direction,
Delight.
and I brought my daughter Margot out, who was 13 at the time.
Dude.
It was
That
yes,
had to be the best
that's-
dad moment ever.
yes.
You're a
in-
rock
in,
star
sh-
over
in,
there.
in show business, that's what I'm so delighted that can happen.
Do you think anyone at the time, or when I was a kid, I had the 45 by Starland Vocal Band, who had their own variety show on ABC. I seem to remember for like a brief moment in time. Did anybody listening to the radio under the age of 20 know what the hell that song was really about?
I'm guessing no.
No. I'd walk around the house singing it. Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon. And my mom's like,
Yeah.
what are you listening to? I'm like,
We
it's a
had no
song
idea.
about playing during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And whose idea was that to sing that in the movie?
Paul Rudd's.
Was it really?
Yeah. McKay said, think of songs from that era, and maybe we'll add it to the movie. And it was Paul that said Afternoon Delight. So we rehearsed it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in Paul's trailer. We all picked our vocal part or range, and then I think we probably just shot it 3 times when we recorded it, filmed it, and then that was it.
I can ask you for one favor?
Yes.
Give me a whammy.
Whammy!
Lovely. David Koechner in studio, Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. Thanks to everybody watching on Facebook as well. Get your tickets, man, tonight through Saturday, comedycastle.com. It's an absolute freaking honor, man. This is just, you put a cherry on a pretty damn good morning show today, man. This was fun. Thank you,
Jim.
buddy.
Thank you. Woo! Still no clap. Okay.
She didn't clap again.
It's okay.
I told you she's
You know
going to
what?
say thank you in different ways. She said that at the beginning of the